comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the.
And welcome to Sooner Sound Waves, episode 13, coming off a bye week for the OU Sooners. Looking forward to Saturday's matchup against the Alabama Crimson Tide, 2:30 on ABC. I'm Iceberg. Alongside me is the good fellow,
Boomer,
and St. Pablo.
Sooner. Put respect
Yes.
on this name.
Yeah, put some respect on this name in this Crimson. The Battle of Crimson this weekend, gentlemen. The Battle of Crimson. OU, I think they opened as a double-digit underdog. It's down to, I believe, 6 points. Over-under is sitting at 45.5. Here we go. Sooners versus the Crimson Tide. What are your thoughts?
hey, listen, we're going to win this game. And I'm going to start off by saying that I think we've been tiptoeing all this year when we get these tough games. You know, we have these conversations, I think we got a chance. No, we're going to go down and we're going to win this game Saturday. And I tell you why. The first reason why I believe we're going to go down there and win this game is because this will be the first week in many weeks where OU has the best running game.
Never thought we'd say that, did we, fellas?
Never thought. The Alabama offensive run game is worse than the Oklahoma Sooners run game, which I hate to admit to even saying that that's the conversation we're having in regards to our run game, because our run game is fairly solid. It's been pretty solid over the years, but this year we have struggled with our run game, but Alabama has as well. I think this is a favorable game in regards to our defensive line. I think they do have a solid offensive line, but we're going to have to win the game in the box. I feel like we got some key players coming back on the back end of our defense to help our secondary. I think this will be a game to where we'll see 2, maybe 3 big turnovers that go into our favor because they will be passing the ball. They will pass more than run on Saturday, which is, in my opinion, favorable for us, that we can get a chance to get out there their quarterback and make him put passes and balls in places to where our cornerbacks and safeties are able to pick off, deflect. But we're going to challenge those receivers. They have some solid receivers, by far probably the best in NCAA right now. But I do believe in our secondary. I do believe in what we have up front and the game plan that Venables will put together. It's going to be solid. You know, if I'm Alabama, you know, one area of concern, you know, is their run game. So I predict more screenplays, trying to get our big guys out of position. But knowing that, if I know that as a fan, I know Venables is planning for that as well. So I know that in my mind that they'll be schemed up, ready to go. This is win, and we are in the playoffs. So I think everyone knows in the locker room, and we don't have nothing to lose. Like, the weight is on Alabama, not Oklahoma.
Facts. St. Pablo.
What's your score prediction, good fella?
We jump into score predictions here.
Okay. So close game. Man. 21-24. 24-21. OU wins.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with the victory with the Sooners. I think it's a close game. I'm not sure that I completely agree with the running part of it. Earlier, the Iceberg and I were talking. Alabama hadn't been able to run the ball well, but they still win, and they know that. And their quarterback is extremely efficient. So just because that's their weakness per se, they still have found a way to be effective with that weakness. I mean, we are great against the run, so it's their weakness against our strength. But that's not their strength is going to be, like you mentioned, in that secondary and their quarterback efficiency. I do agree. The pressure on the quarterback with Ty Simpson and getting that there is crucial. Let's see if we can. Um, so it's one of those deals where I would like to see us create enough pressure where he has that bad moment. He does not turn the ball over. In fact, they do a great job of causing other teams to turn the ball over. I give the Sooners the edge, and that is due to Tate Sandell and the kicking game. My score prediction would be that 27-24 Sooners. I do think the Sooners can win this one and win by 3 points. I'm a little concerned. Anytime we've played better teams, better competition, our defense is averaging about 24.3 points a game. When we play a mediocre team, we only allow 6.8 points a game. And so the defense does have to step up against some of these, better teams. And this is the best team that we will play thus far. And at home with a circled revenge factor. And was it you, Goodfella, that said that Alabama intentionally scheduled homecoming for this ball game?
I don't recall, but I'm not surprised, and that's okay.
Actually, Eli Bowen made a comment about it in an interview that he feels like this was scheduled as homecoming on purpose due to the revenge factor for last year.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So, there's a lot of factors in here. And Alabama is 17 game home win streak, the longest right now after Georgia's was snapped by Alabama. But Alabama is a very interesting team because, and I know that each matchup and each week's different, but again, earlier, the Iceberg and I were discussing this. It's, you look at opponents and you look at the South Carolina game, OU wins by 19 points, on the road, South Carolina. Again, they didn't turn the ball over. Sooners didn't turn the ball over in that ball game. And Alabama goes to that game, South Carolina and should have lost. I mean, they should have lost that game. If it wasn't for their defense creating turnovers and bailing them out, that's part of football, and they win that game. It was a huge game. But Alabama very well could have lost that game in South Carolina. So, I don't know what film you pull from. Maybe that's one that, this week, these couple weeks here, they've looked at. I know they will be ready. But, do not turn the football over, create pressure, and all the things needed. Do the things required for winning that are needed in this football game, and the Sooners can very well win in Tuscaloosa. Yes, sir.
Will win. And Venables is 4-1 off a bye.
Facts. Yeah. Venables is 4-1 off a bye week. I have a little bit of the same assessment as a good fellow in terms of the running game. I never expected us to have a better running game coming in than another team. Our running game has been remotely, other than the last couple games, borderline pathetic. And I'll say this too, from everything I'm reading, Alabama gets a lot of their rushing yards towards the end of football games when they put people away. And so, it'll be interesting to see if there's some tendencies that the staff at OU picks up on with the Alabama offense. I mean, gosh, remember game one, Florida State made them look silly, and they had all summer to prepare. So that makes me believe that there's something out there. But again, Ty Simpson, only one interception on the year for Alabama. That's really impressive, especially with 296 passing attempts, only throwing one pick. So they do have the edge on us in the passing game. We have the edge in the rushing game. Our defense, statistically, I feel like has the edge over theirs. I think the injuries for OU are critical. I think it'll be interesting when the injury report comes out to see where our Mason Thomas starts on the list. Kobe McKenzie obviously is another huge factor, but not as huge as our Mason Thomas in this game, in my opinion. I think we need to disrupt the quarterback as much as possible, and make it known that we're coming for him. So it'll be a test for our passing defense. I don't have as much faith in them outside of the defensive front in opposition to you, good fella. But my hope is that both of you fellows are correct. And good fellow, we come in here and we're excited and we want to beat them. My score prediction is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to go 24-20 Bama.
Yeah.
So as much as I want the Sooners to win, I think this is a really, the revenge factor's there. We surprised them last year. We're a better team. And I honestly don't know if they're as good as they were last year in terms of athleticism, but they're beating people. Like I mean, at the end of the day, they're 8-1, 6-0. They've won their last 8,
Because Ty Simpson's not making mistakes.
So
that's the X factor. Like, he's not throwing deep balls. He is managing the game, throwing short passes, doing whatever the defense is giving him. So he is managing the game, which is that's all you need. That's all you need.
So I'm going to contend this, though, that this is the pressure's all on OU. I mean, if you want to make the college football playoffs, OU has to win in this weekend. Alabama does not.
Oh.
They could still make the college football playoffs and lose this game.
We could lose this one and win out and get a chance to get in.
You have very, very slim chance if you lose this football game. I mean, this is your season right here. This is your play-in to the college football playoffs. I mean, it's extreme. I mean, have to be a lot of chaos down the stretch. The other thing, though, that I do find interesting on this ball game is the conversation around, similar to the Ole Miss signaling, play calling thing. And the reason I find that intriguing is that there is that sense of worry, and there should be, because this is an extremely volatile, physical defense, and it is a feather in the cap to the Sooners and Venables that our defense is that aggressive and that athletic and on point so well that the attention of the Crimson Tide is there to make some revive that talk. So they're concerned, and they should be. I mean, they also should be concerned because I see the Sooners as a desperate football team going in there. There is everything on the line in this football game. It has to be perfection. If you want to go to the college football playoffs, this is it. You win Saturday, and you play for that. If you want to have a good season, 9-3, hopefully, if you can finish out the last 2 games, and go to a nice bowl, whatever. But that's not the aspirations of this team. And so it's a desperate, hungry team coming into Alabama with a wild, crazy defense that's got to create tons of pressure. And John Mateer is the X factor in the football game going in. John Mateer has to play better, he has to play above average all 4 quarters. Don't turn the ball over. He has to make deep passes. He has to be on point. He's got to get back to that 67-68% pass rate. You can't play the way that we've played after the surgery. So hopefully he's healthy. I love some of the articles I read about John Mateer in this regard, that he had some downtime. He had time to self-scout, and I love that he's watching. He's engaged, and this is a critical moment. This is a moment. This could be the moment that revives some of the Heisman talk. You go into Tuscaloosa and you win, play well.
Listen, now
You
I think we're scratching.
play well.
I think now you're scratching it. That Heisman talk is gone until next year.
I do hope he self-scouts the little jump pass, the little jump and flail. That'd be nice if he ditches that crap. But yeah, I think he has to manage the game. He has to limit turnovers, if not to 0, at least to 1. It can be in a pivotal moment. I think also we have to get, we need to be balanced. We need to rush the ball for over 100 yards, and I agree with the 60+% in passing. I hope we can continue some tackles for loss. I would love to see a complete game. I would love to see both of your score predictions come true. But I also know that Tuscaloosa is a tough place to play anyway, and it's going to be tough because of what we did last year. And that place is going to be rocking. And my hope is that we're ready. And I think there's no excuse not to be ready. As we've mentioned, realistically, the CFP is on the line. You've had over a week to prepare. And I do, in terms of the signs and whatever, we're in everybody's head. You know what I mean? Because everybody's also saying they're not doing it illegally. No, they're not doing it illegally. And so, you're having to, they didn't have a week to prepare, and they're having to, if they don't already change their signs, they're having to do something different. So that's, there's only so much time in a week, and they took some extra time to do that and prepare for some of that. And so I think that benefits the Sooners, and should be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, it goes to show the respect in terms of Venables and his ability to scheme up games and watch film. So if they're making those comments, kudos to our defensive coordinator and the staff on making teams adjust. Like, if you're going to come in with the same game plan, we've watched enough film to where we got your number. So yes, adjust, change up things. That's you need to when you're playing Oklahoma.
So I think that Arbuckle's the one that I'm most curious about in this game and his adjustment, because he talked about that. I think Iceberg, you brought it up last week too, that did he tag on even a possibility for a slant pass where in the end of that Tennessee game. So that has to be fixed. The communication has, and they address this, that communication is getting cleaned up. It's being addressed, and you can't have moments for those mistakes or different options that could be available. You're playing Alabama. Can that young offensive line give John Mateer and the running game as well, again, enough pressure, because Alabama's defensive line is so strong. And maybe they picked up some things, whatever happened to that Florida State game, as you mentioned, they got pushed around. I don't envision that happening now, but again, it's a hungry team for the Sooners, desperate and hungry coming in. And this is where you earn your paycheck, from the coaching staff to the water boy or girl. You earn that paycheck, and you earn that scholarship. And the beautiful part is that we can sit here and talk about that and say, hey, we've got a chance. It may be 1 in a billion, but we've got a chance.
It's not 1 in a billion. The number.
I don't. I picked the
Five and a
Sooners.
half. The spread is 5.5 now.
It did just bump. Yep.
It's going to drop again before Saturday.
Yeah. Well, that'll be interesting to see.
I believe that this will be your lock of the week because the confidence is there, and I love it.
It may be a lock, but I'm not going to say it yet.
I will say this, and I know you were just kind of going on a little bit of a rant there with the 1 in a billion. We have a better chance to win this game this year than we came in having last year. Last year, we thought, oh, God, how bad is this going to be? And we came out and just punched them in the mouth and kept punching and kept punching. And really, there was really never a shadow of a doubt in that football game last year. So got a better shot, at least on paper, this week. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah, no, I agree. I only said 1 in a billion because I think that was a movie quote somewhere along the way.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's great that we're in this position to talk about it, though, in this way, because this is what you built for. This is what you're paying for. I mean, at the end of the day, the execution is that it has to be there, and this is it. And it's great that we can have this opportunity. Now let's, again, I do want the Sooners to be able to have that kill mentality. I feel like they have not been good game closers. Ole Miss, if it's a tight game, which could very well be, finishing the job. Tennessee, it seemed like it was, again, difficult to finish the job. Let's put a team to rest, and maybe that communication aspect, cleaning up some of those things is what, that will get them over that hump. But, the Tennessee game has to be tremendous confidence in knowing that you could go into a very hostile environment and you can go win and take care of business. Yes, sir.
Yeah, teams to rest is going to be Missouri and LSU. This is going to be a biter all the way to the end. We're not going to put Bama to sleep, but we're definitely going to win.
No, I mean, listen, I don't even want to go look ahead right now because each week will be critical, particularly dependent upon what happens Saturday, right? But I agree. I mean, this is by far 3 games left, the last quarter of the season.
Hey, this our schedule.
Hey, Monday or Sunday of this week.
What? You froze.
You froze for
college football team that's going to play in the national title game.
Repeat your question.
It's the midway point of the season, college football season. So whoever's playing in the national title game, the Sooners will be one of them. This is our midway point.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, isn't that crazy how long it is? It feels like we're right here at the end of the season, 3 games left. But if you're playing for a national title, you're only halfway through the season.
Yeah, and our schedule's been brutal. Like every week, since Texas, every week's been like, this is our toughest week. This is our toughest week. Like, can't get a break.
Yep. No.
Well, we got a bye week. We had a break.
We didn't lose last week. Yeah. All right. So Sooners travel to Tuscaloosa. It's hard to not put another C on that. Alabama, 2:30 Saturday. Face the Alabama Crimson Tide, number 11 versus number 4. Speaking of rankings, college football playoff rankings came out for the second week. OU comes in at number 11, which is the 3rd best 2-loss team in the nation, is how I like to look at it. Obviously, being ranked behind Texas makes perfect sense. I hate it, but it makes perfect sense. You both have 2 losses. Texas has the head-to-head. Notre Dame, for me, I've never been a huge Notre Dame fan. I feel like, while they do have somewhat of a marquee win versus Miami in the beginning of the year, I don't like Notre Dame being the best 2-loss team in the nation. But I also, to say that, I don't know who would win if they lined up against Texas. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. If we say, let's say OU does win, I believe that's a very good marquee win for OU. They could potentially, gosh, guys, if they win, they could potentially jump up to 4 or 5, maybe 5, because Alabama beat Georgia, with Georgia being in 5. So
Yeah.
that's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is a great point because we talked about this earlier too. You have OU and you have Texas, both on the road, both playing probably 2 of the top tier programs in the SEC. How do you see that turning out? So you have the Sooners taking care of business. What do you think of Texas on the road at Georgia?
That's a good ball game. I'm excited to watch that one too. It's going to be a great day of college football on Saturday. So Texas, let's just hypothesize here. Both OU and Texas win. I think both OU and Texas then move to 4 and 5, which would be crazy because you'd have two 2-loss teams above Texas Tech. Ooh, Ole Miss. Ole Miss is going to have to jump up there too because of the win over Oklahoma. That could blow this thing all up. If OU and Texas win, the top 11, 12 will blow completely up this weekend.
Wait, well, yeah. Then where did Georgia? Do they put Georgia and Alabama behind?
It's
And
going to be
eleven.
4. It's going to be 4 teams in there. Like it's
10 and
they gotta
11.
be 4.
I think Georgia and Alabama go to 10 and 11, or they got to go behind Ole Miss. They got to go behind Oregon. There'll be 2-loss teams. They're going to be the best 2-loss teams in the nation. They have better marquee wins than Notre Dame. So maybe I should say 7 and 8. Good Lord. This is taking me back, guys. This is taking me back to the Big 12 Championship 2019 when we went to Dallas. We watched OU make the comeback against Baylor. That night we needed like LSU to beat Georgia. We needed Oregon to beat somebody, and it all shaped out and blew the whole thing up. That was the final week of the regular season, though. Actually the final week of that was championship, conference championship week. But anyway, that's interesting.
That is so weird that you say that because I was thinking about that season, with what's kind of needed. And I also thought to myself, because we played Baylor in overtime and won. And I wonder, I don't know why I have this sick feeling that it's going to be an overtime game in Alabama. And I just don't know how I feel about an overtime game.
I'm getting old enough where my heart can't take it anymore. Oh, gosh. Yeah, and here's, Indiana has all you can do is play the hand you're dealt.
Yeah.
They beat the teams that have been on their schedule, but my goodness, their schedule's terrible.
So bad.
Terrible.
Yeah.
The Big Ten, I can remember 3 or 4 weeks ago, is when the first Big Ten versus SEC, which one is the tougher conference? Guys, and I think we went over this that week. There's no Rutgers in the SEC. There's no Maryland in the SEC. There's no Purdue in the SEC. There used to be Vanderbilt, but guess what? They're pretty dadgum good now.
Yeah. Man. You guys know how I feel about the Big Ten, so the world knows I'm not
Except
a big
for
fan.
Wisconsin, though. Except for Wisconsin, right?
Well, not Wisconsin.
Minnesota.
No, Minnesota. Minnesota, except for Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
One of those northern teams.
Minnesota, they the mascot.
Gophers.
Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Golden Gophers. I'm a Golden Gopher right now because my nephew, we playing there in the spring, fallish. So,
yeah.
That Indiana Penn State game was amazing. That catch in the back of the end zone was unreal. Absolutely unreal. And Indiana dominated Illinois. They went into Oregon and won by
That is
10 points.
That's
So
a good
Indiana's for real. Texas A&M is fascinating to me. I mean, it's so hard to go undefeated in college football, but you know, I think their last game is with Texas at the end of the year, and I if you asked me to pick that game, I would take Texas A&M. They go to the University of Texas this year. A&M does. That'd be an awesome game to watch.
Texas could finish 8-4 in a hurry.
Yeah.
Lose to Georgia.
Yeah.
I don't know who they have. They have Georgia. They have Texas A&M. I don't know who else they have, but that's pretty interesting.
They have Arkansas
Oh,
in the middle there.
Bobby Petrino is no joke out there in Arkansas right now.
Yeah, their last two games are at home, though. I mean, they'll have Arkansas at home, and then they'll have A&M at home.
Still tough games, though. Pretty tough games.
The amount of shakeup that could happen just within the SEC teams that are currently in the top 12 of the college football player rankings is nuts, right? Like even, Ohio State, they have the Michigan game coming up, Thanksgiving weekend or whatever that could shake some things up. But Michigan's, I hate to say they're not very good, but they're not as good as advertised. Anyway, it's going to be interesting down the stretch here the next 3 weeks. And we can't forget about the conference championship week too.
Yeah.
That's a different element.
But typically that game shouldn't hurt teams, but it does.
Yeah, it does. That'll be interesting. There's a lot that could play out the next 2 or 3 weeks. So, all right, that takes us to locks of the week. I'll go ahead and start. I took Oregon as a 6-point favorite over Iowa. I thought there's no way that they would hold them to within 6. Turns out it was like a monsoon the entire game. And Oregon struggled beating Iowa and didn't win by 6. Ended up pulling off the victory, but didn't win by 6. So I dropped to 7-5 this week. I'm going to go with Missouri as a 7-point favorite over Mississippi State. I think I don't know. I think Missouri's average, but I don't think Mississippi State's very good. I think, you get to this point of the season and you lose as many close games as Mississippi State has, it starts to wear on you. And so I think Missouri is going to come out victorious over Mississippi State by more than 7. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Good fellow.
So I lost last week. I had Florida State beating Clemson. It wasn't even close. Dabo, he's earned his job back, guys. Yes, he beat a Florida State team. In my mind, it wasn't as good, but not a 10-24 deficit. They beat Alabama. So I figured, it should be a pretty close game. I'm going back. I'm not a big fan of seeing Dabo win 2 weeks in a row. So I am circling the wagon. Yeah, I am going with Louisville minus 2.5 at home versus Clemson. I'm going to get me a win against Dabo.
Is Louisville favored?
Yeah,
they're favored by 2.5.
Louisville favored by 2.5.
I can't lose 3 weeks in a row with Dabo. It just can't happen.
Well, you did it. You can't lose 3 weeks in a row. Is that where you're going with that? Because you went 2 weeks ago. You went with Clemson and lost.
Well, he
Clemson
can't.
who?
He can't. I can't lose 3 times with him. Like you just can't have
Okay.
it.
Well, I will pray for you, Joe. All right, good fella. Saturday. All right. Oh, St. Pablo.
It turns out that the third string quarterback is the third string quarterback for a reason at Missouri. I think I don't even remember his name. He passed for 77 yards total in that football game in Texas A&M. I don't think that game was ever in doubt and came through for me. So I'm excited about that. I rolling on a win streak here. It's still not above 500. Need to get there. 5-7 overall. I'm going to go to the Big 12 this week, and I like Utah to cover the 7.5 against Baylor at Waco.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been hitting a lot of points here lately, and Baylor is pretty vulnerable on the defensive side of the football.
Solid.
Okay. So just for the listeners, St. Pablo, did we have any YouTube comments this week? I don't believe we did.
I don't think so. I mean, the poll is still leading pretty strongly with John Mateer being above average quarterback.
Well, okay, he was 2 weeks ago, but 3 weeks ago when we started the poll, he was not. What I was going to say is the standings currently are Iceberg at 7-5, St. Pablo at 5-7, and Goodfellow at 4-8. That's what I have down in the bookie notes.
I'm really praying for the Army Navy head to head
Again, like last year. Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping for.
we'll see what happens. Okay. Goodfellow goes back to the Clemson for the third week straight. Loving it. All right, gentlemen. OU Alabama this weekend. Looking forward to it. We have the score predictions. Both of you have OU predicted to win, each of you by 3 with different numbers. I have Bama to win by 4. So that'll do it for episode 13. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Boomer.
Sooner.
Texas.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like,
Go Dogs.
here comes the